Adam Warlock had a unique bringing into existence. He first appeared in a Fantastic Four comic book, where this group known as the Beehive, yes, you see the cocoon, this group had a singular goal of creating the perfect human being at the pinnacle of future human evolution. I thought that was Captain America. Okay, I'm just playing. Let me stop. They called this being him, which is basically just Adam Warlock. This is actually him when he didn't have the Soul Stone. He's always been strong, even without the Soul Stone, which I'm going to get to later on in this vid. But like, yeah, he immediately turned on his creators and things of that such. I bet they didn't see that coming, huh? He was able to supposedly sense they were up to no good and they had ill intent. So Adam Warlock at this time literally has no life experience. He's not even called Adam at this point. Yeah, it's this early in his career. He actually tries to abduct Sif, Thor's sweetie. Yeah, I know, crazy, right? To mate with him. Adam Warlock, I'm pretty sure that's not how things are supposed to be done. You're going to see him chilling in cocoons a lot. Every time he goes in a cocoon, sleeps for a little bit, comes out, they always call it reborn, you know, that type of thing. Here's basically a good explanation and lore of his life. I was formed with my life-giving cocoon within the deepest caverns of afar. Those who created me did so for a purpose of ill within their hidden citadel of science. I finally awoke. I trapped those who called themselves my masters and slew them all. Sick at the thought of what I had done, I wanted no more contact with the cursed human race. Pretty absolute thinking, Warlock. I used the very powers which they had given me to leave the earth by the peerless power of thought. Yep, so he can pretty much fly. Seems like he doesn't need air. Implied to be massively faster light to literally be able to traverse space, really, if we're being honest. Colliding with meteors, but it was too much for his body at the time. He had to make a new protective cocoon formed on him once again. While in this cocoon, he ends up coming across the Watcher, who once again violates his oath of never interfering. From Earth he came, to Earth he must go back to. And now that's how we're back to the present with Thor. Dude literally tried to make her mate. Adam Warlock pretty much says she looks good, even though his name is not Adam yet. My bad, just a habit. That's when he seems to use the Force and knocks back Thor, grabs her. He created a solar vortex out of like pretty much nothing somehow. Thor even states something funny. He said, Odin spins faster till not even Odin could bid it stop. Like, what? It's funny how the video just started and one of his first major battle feats while he's like at his weakest without no soul stone or nothing. He's not even called Warlock yet. Shows energy projection ability to be able to stagger Thor and be able to harm Thor to a good degree. Blast Balder and Thor backwards with a crazy powerful energy of force, like a force blast. Stated, I need no weapons for my defense. I was created to be power itself. He seems to have matter manipulation. He used the roots to fight against Thor and Balder on this occasion. He stated, I mentally commanded the roots to hold your companion. Another entanglement with Thor. He even states that he has this female in aerospace. Why do you hate me so bad? Placed her in. All because he was lonely in his cocoon. He can make a mind shield, psionic energy telekinetically basically here. It's even stated by a Warlock, or what they would call him at the moment. My mind shield can defend me against any weapon. He's pretty confident in his abilities, even stating that he is stronger than any, including Thor at the moment. So we meet in equal terms, consistently calling himself invincible because he's artificially made to be supreme. Proving that he is a physical beast, like one of his very first battles, slugging it out with Thor. Look at the discomfort on Thor's face, proving that it is an issue for Thor. Thor slowly but surely starts to overpower him, start to have him on the ropes, endures attacks from Thor, a being that can literally lift up planets easily. Adam Warlock even goes so far by saying, I wanted to fight you fairly. I didn't want to use my deadly mind power against Thor. Are you trying to be handicapping against Thor? The fight did seem to start going in Thor's favor, though. Makes himself in this big old cocoon, and he does indeed retreat. It's even stated that not even the power of the Thunder God can tear thy sheath apart. This dude, him, said, nah, bro, I'm out. This is where he will float amongst the stars for an hour or an age till the cocoon doth open once again one day, and that's where that ends for Thor and stuff. Sith gets free, happy ending type of stuff. Wait a minute, I can't believe I ain't say this already, but before I go any farther, shout out to those that have donated to the channel. Appreciate it a lot. Well, back to Adam Warlock. So after that cocoon stuff, he was discovered by High Evolutionary, gave him purpose, and even gave him, yeah, this is how he discovered him here. This is where he tells High Evolutionary about his origin I just went over. You can read this for yourself. Pause the video if you have to. Boom. Battle with Thor I just showed you. Boom. Showing his level of power before the events of all of this. Boom. Read this if you have to. High Evolutionary is the one that bestowed upon him that Infinity freaking stone that's on his freaking middle of his head. I want something to be clear. If you see him doing feats with the Soul Stone, just know that the feats are not always credit to the Soul Stone, because like I showed you him fighting Thor, he still could fight characters like Thor without any Soul Stone. That was the whole purpose of showing that fight first without the Soul Stone, stuff like that. Even though the Soul Stone obviously does amp him to certain different aspects, it doesn't necessarily mean he's weak without it. Like if you take the stone out of his head, he's not suddenly not Thor level no more. Like he's still Thor level, right? Makes sense, right? They call him the Master of Souls. Without the Soul Gem, he can journey into the soul of others. That seems appropriate for his skill set, right? Careful, through your soul is healed. Your mortal form will be take time to mend. This vampire cannot absorb Adam's life force, because he's one of those characters where it's extremely hard to kill him. If he does die, he usually gets reborn, kind of like innate mortality. He states, I am master of my own soul, and you shall not have it. This is how he sees people with the aura. He has like an aura vision. He can literally see your aura. That's cool. He can even tear out the souls of a body and destroy soul within the being. How does that work? I'm a big fan of a character's strength on their own without actually having outside help, and the Soul Stone usually would be considered outside help. But Adam is a little weird. For quite a time, one could say that the Soul Stone was actually a part of his standard gear, which should technically be a part of his character and stuff like that. He's always in these cosmic type of events. If you see a lot of the Soul Stone, just know, oh, he cheated. Don't be like he cheated. Well, it's like his standard gear. It's kind of like saying Wolverine cheated because he has adamantium claws. That's kind of like his standard gear. It's a part of him at this moment in time, even though he does go through evolutions and changes throughout his history, right? I mean, his matter manipulation is insane. He can revert beings to their original rat form, like literally devolve them. I showed this earlier, being able to entangle Balder in roots he created with the plants and stuff. It was stated that he can return these hides into actual living snakes to reuse them as a weapon against you, which is actually pretty insane. Yeah, that staff. He can literally turn bullets into nothing, turn the parachute into air, evidently. Another example of him devolving folk. Oh, no big deal. I can just fix broken bridges. That was about to break, and fall and destroy everything, because I can just fix it. Reed Richards was the brute for a little bit. He was able to turn him back into Reed Richards, using the gem to its advantage right here, mystically attuning itself to the brute's molecular composition. I recognize this man, the Reed Richards of this counter-Earth. Different reality Reed Richards, evidently. And yes, Adam has battled the real Reed Richards as well. He fought like this giant monster. He was able to shrink this giant monster to the size of his fist. Hey, little guy. Just with a swipe of his hand, he can just devolve people like that easily. He states, I'm changing back into a wolf. It's great him having a combination with this already a beast abilities on his own, but he got that soul stone or gem on top of it, man. They said the gem's greatest power is to affect living genes, but only with great effort can this be done. Something can be in the middle of changing, but he can prevent it from happening thanks to these abilities. Thanks to the different ways that the soul gem is kind of connected to the universal aspects of things. It states the support of his followers recharges Warlock's powers, but similarly doubt and betrayal can lay him lower than any opponent's blow. Of course, the soul gem has a soul world. It's like a totally different dimension inside of the soul world. Beings that are inside of it are beings that had their soul stolen by the gem. Everything is pretty much basically spiritually connected to the soul world. Adam has a unique connection to it, so he still gets his powers, still retains his powers within the same dimension. Like, for example, Adam can still fly. In this soul world, he was able to send Silver Surfer and Drax's souls back to their bodies, because he has a unique connection to. One could say it's just a part of him at this point. They're back. For example, just because you can destroy a planet in the real world doesn't mean you can destroy a planet in the soul world. It totally depends on the soul. The fact that you're not Adam Warlock. Adam Warlock is just a special case. Silver Surfer stated that his powers have abandoned him. I can't even summon my surfboard. Why? Because you are in the soul world. Your cosmic powers were of your physical self, and we're not transferred here. It's your soul that's transferred here. Your physical self isn't here. You're straight soul. Your soul ain't gonna have the same abilities as your physical self. You know what I mean? It has its advantages though, this soul gem. Like, it can take you to different planes that are beyond physical, like the psychic plane, the astral plane, send your souls back, stuff like that. Talking about ultimate power, bringing somebody back to life. When you have complete control over souls, these are the type of things you can do. When you think of it like that, does he even need to be physically on your level to defeat you? I mean, can't he just steal your soul? You better have some soul manipulation resistance or something. Shoot. There's been too many occasions of him stealing souls from multiple different occasions. But in this occasion, Gamora was dying, so he took her soul in her dying moment. Stuff like that. So he would not be alone. Obviously, he can't steal the souls of those that have no souls, though. Your soul and your mind is kind of linked, so you can kind of learn of plans by reading someone's soul. stated that he took her soul into myself. Pip the troll got his mind destroyed, and Adam Warlock saved his soul. Sometime it got a mind of its own to where Adam doesn't even have to consciously use it on purpose, and it fights back. It states here, but I did not take into account the protective attitude this soul gem has towards its bearer. Think of the soul gem kind of like a symbiote, but not really, but it kind of does form a symbiotic relationship with its host. Like right here, for example, you can see like some lore. It says, I am one of the six, were once one. We were omnipotent, and all there was until the great division made us vulnerable. This individuality forced us to adapt host bodies through which to act. Over the eons, I've had countless symbiotic relationships with myriad of life forms. Many of these creatures have become the stuff of galactic legend. Here you see him in possession of the high evolutionary, stuff like that. He can contact you on a spiritual level to his nurturing relationship with the soul gem. It states here, using my soul gem to contact you on a spiritual level. His connection is so deep with the soul stone. During all this Infinity Gauntlet ruckus, Nebula had the stones and everything. Ish was getting real. His link with the Soul Stone is so deep that this dude actually took control of the Infinity Gauntlet because of his connection with the Soul Stone, using the Soul Stone, it states here, nowhere, everywhere, at one with the universe of the Soul Gem. He used that connection with the Soul Gem to link out to the other 5 gems, and bam, bada bing, literally said, come here, Gauntlet, this is mine. This is what happened. Like his link with the Soul Stone was so deep that he was able to use his connection with the Soul Stone to take possession of the Infinity Gauntlet by force, even though it's pretty much impossible to disarm somebody that has all the stones at the same time, possessing infinite power. Yet he was still able to get it from her grasp, like here in this occasion right here, but that's a whole separate video. How strong is he with the Infinity Gauntlet? Maybe. How strong is the Infinity Gauntlet video coming up soon? Ooh, maybe. I mean, this dude is so crazy, he can control Silver Surfer's board. By the way, this is without the Infinity Gauntlet, by the way. Just in case you got that confused. Silver Surfer seems confused. You're controlling it. It's kind of hard to separate him from the Soul Gem. He retained it back from Thanos, the Soul Gem, in this particular case. Technically, this isn't the Mind Stone, but he can still do mind stuff. I mean, come on now. I mean, can even help restore memories if need be. Psionic beings, do y'all need my help? Allowing him to speak and understand all languages, stuff like that. I mean, physically, he's already Thor level thanks to his telekinetic abilities plus his physical strength already, but then you add the Soul Gem on top of it. This guy fought Mephisto in his own realm. Yes, Soul Gem and everything helping out. The power of Infinity Stone really put into fruition in his own realm. Let that sink in for a second. That's freaking Mephisto, y'all. I have a video about him. Skyfather tier outside of his room. Higher inside of his room. I'm not even gonna lie, this was an epic battle. Still holding his weight, and tell me that isn't epic. Even stated on panels, so evenly matched are these astral titans. Battle had crazy collateral. The part that's the most impressive, when Adam Warlock decides to use the Infinity Stone in his head to the fullest degree, he can match Mephisto. Gigantic explosion here, showing the aftermath. Silver Surfer even asked what happened. Mephisto stated, he soundly defeated me. Mephisto. The deal was that they were able to depart the realm unaffected after the defeat, even though Silver Surfer was left behind. That would mean, wouldn't that technically put him above Skyfathers like Odin? I'm just saying. One misconception is that each gem has a power of unique to its aspect, which is true. Soul, mind, power, reality, all that stuff is true. But let's be honest, they all have some degree of just raw power. For example, you can use the Soul Gem to destroy a star, or like Thanos says, this is kind of not even fair for him to have this standard gear of an Infinity Stone to be able to just challenge beings like Mephisto outside of his realm. He even brings up the last time they fought. Must I remind you of the last encounter when you tried to challenge my Soul Gem? Brings the mighty Mephisto to his knees in the process. He even stated, in this domain I stand supreme. Yes, I'm going back to the fight. The first fight that Adam Warlock beat him in his own realm. Never forget that Mephisto and Galactus have duked it out in the realm before. Just give me an idea of Adam Warlock with that darn stone's power. I gotta give Mephisto credit. He had put up a fight though. It even got so bad to where he even stated, I will no longer toy with you. So Mephisto did go all out, by the way. So no excuses saying it's outlier. I mean, it's the freaking Soul Gem as a part of his standard gear. They left this realm engulfed in destruction, as stated right here. Just notice how the collateral is getting so big around this area right here. Then notice how it's like white. It's like everything gets wiped out. I mean, what else can you say? And he just seemed like he got your number right here. Mephisto is ridiculously powerful. He is not going to be turned into ash or fire ash. Even Mephisto stated, apparently even stripped of omnipotence, you still possess a trick or two. By the way, this is how it happened in the first place when they encountered. He tried to turn him into ash. That's how he break out of that, right? You can't really trick him with deception thanks to the Soul Stone. Like, for example, he knows that this construct in particular isn't the real Doctor Strange. It's an ability known as the Light of Truth. You're a magic construct robot of sort, created by Dr. Stephen Strange himself. And if he needs to find you anywhere in the universe, trust me, he can find you. Like the time he searched for these star-consuming forces. Like the time he found Drax. I mean, the guy heard the souls of billions dying. Even though time was stopped in this particular occasion, he can pull Rune into the soul world during the time. That's how stones are, right? Being how powerful the stones are, the soul gem, the soul world, is a world beyond time, and it is the domain of Adam Warlock. You don't want to fight him in the soul world. You're basically depowered, and you got to go by his rules. He can actually use the soul gem as a focused aspect of the space gem to boost the mind gem. Modify and rechannel a beam of pure energy from Silver Surfer because of the soul gem, him being able to do cool stuff beyond comprehension. And by the way, the gem is a sentient being. You see the green little bubble of it talking right here. Right here. States that it does not bother to care to have a name. And for Pete's sake, don't ever try to use the soul gem against Adam Warlock, or it will backfire. His connection with it is too strong and has that much control over it to where if you try to use it against him, it will literally mess you up in the process. Fighting this being known as Siphon, he stated, the gem is attacking me. He's basically immune to these mind control tendrils because of this soul gem. And of course, he has his standard gear, like our special staff, like the Carmack staff, which is an extension of his soul. He can summon it at will. It's basically a part of him. See how nothing's in his hand and then boom. My staff is but an extension of my spirit Asgardian. Fighting Thor in this occasion. He's consistently a threat for Thor level characters, even without always using the full power of the Soul Stone at the time. He even redirected Cyclops and Havoc's attack. But back to freaking Adam Warlock being the Thor tier, with and without the stone. Always remember on 2 separate occasions of Adam fighting Thor, one without the Soul Stone and one with the Soul Stone, showing that he's just physically in that levels of power with or without the stone. Old comic, no stone. Makes sense. The Soul Gem bonded with the planet's core one time. Yes, the Hulk threw the gem through the planet. Yeah, that's funny. It ended up healing the planet after bonding with the core of it. The Soul Gem. He has a pretty decent area of effect type of blast that he can shoot from his hands, causing severe damage, like destroying skyscrapers in this occasion. Even broke free of being frozen. All this water was about to break through this dam, and he seals it up. Seems to have flame manipulation, be able to ignite the ground in the air. Flamey. He's gotten a battlefield with the Stranger before. Has enough blast power to clash beams with characters like the Stranger. Remember that Stranger is so powerful he has KO'd the Juggernaut before. Literally melted the Silver Surfer's board before. This guy literally pulled the power cosmic out of the Silver Surfer. KO'd Ben Grimm. Does this to a chunk of the moon. In Adam Warlock's fight, yep. Yet Adam Warlock is consistently able to be in a beam struggle with a guy like this. Blast Colossus back here. Yes, this was war. He was even able to knock out beings like Quasar in Battlefield. Another angle of him blasting and damaging Colossus. Like this Omega Thanos, bootleg clone of Thanos, explains they are creations of his. The Omega Thanos stated that this Omega Thanos is evidently twice as powerful as Galactus, evidently. Marvel, what kind of stuff Thanos Galactus fusion looks like. They stated here, I've encountered the real Galactus and my cosmic senses say this creature easily dwarfs the original in power. We're dead, they say. Thanos himself even blasted this bootleg Thanos, or Galactus Thanos, one can call Mega Thanos. Looks like Galactus, but that's none of my business. Only blast him, but it's only an annoyance. Well, Adam Warlock blasts him, he's actually able to move him. That's some impressive power. They was able to get the advantage over him by depriving him from his ship, but they state he still have incredible power, but his reactions are as slow, so they working together to take him on like that. Adam Warlock's blast power can even one-shot beings like Maxim, which is way more impressive than you probably think. Dig into the lore right quick. On another occasion with Moondragon, I've shown her before, full mind blast, and he was okay from all of that. It was even stated how well Maxim's psychic defenses work against a full force of mind blast. Quite effective. Then he says Drax fight him. This guy is immune to mind abilities, but to slug it out with freaking Drax, classic Drax, aka when Drax was actually Thor tier for once. This is during the old days. Like it was a fight. The fact that Adam Warlock can knock this guy out is insane because they stated here the powerful guy seems to achieve Hulk class strength. Warlock has even one-shot characters like Ulit. Adam just bullying heavy hitters. Adam Warlock has even one-shotted characters like Goliath. I don't know why he hasn't used this since then, but remember back in those earlier panels I showed earlier, he can teleport in the solar vortex. You know what I mean? On top of being able to react and overpower beings like Ulik, you know, I don't really get to show his like just straight up speed much because he doesn't have that many flashy showings, but naturally he should be massive, fast, and light like characters like Silver Surfer because he's simply in that tier of power. Can dodge helicopter fire, evades energy blasts on multiple occasions, seems to be like lasers, stuff like that. And of course, heat-seeking missiles ain't catching him, duh. Look how he flips in the air using that agility. Don't you love that? It's even stated on panel that he can fly faster than light speeds. He has traveled hundreds of light years from Earth. He can fly at parsec consuming rates. I mean, the guy can fly across a sun in the length of a conversation. I'm just saying. You can get an idea of how strong Adam is by his fights, punching people through rocks, beating the crap out of Warthog, smashes through rocks in anger, just physical strength stuff. Smashes a stone pillar, breaking free and ripping out of tentacles, just grabbing stuff with strength. He throws a couple tons at the abstract being known as the in-betweener before. Showed this already, but just running down his strength, fighting Berserker Thor. Slugs it out with Ulit, a very powerful being, just showing kicking power, not necessarily using energy blast from the Soul Gem. He was one of the people helping with the moon pushing, literally on the other side of the moon thruster. He was able to push over the moon pusher. He was pushing the moon closer to the Earth. One of my favorite showings of his physical strength is when he got pissed off and just started wailing on folks physically, further proving how strong he can punch. He can physically produce planet-shattering force. This narration kind of proves that he can fight on par with characters like Thor physically without any telekinetic enhancements. He's just that physically strong. It matches up with all his battle feats as well, when he's a physical threat to these beings as well, not just using telekinetic stuff the whole time. So yes, he does have planet-shattering punches. In the battle with Drax, punches out Drax in this occasion. Classic Drax, might I add. By the way, it was even stated that he could shake stars with these levels of punches. That's freaking crazy. You're not about to bear hug me. Get out my hand. Get out of my way. He withstood an energy blast from Black Bolt, a powerful lightning blast from Thor. I don't even know how you have reality warping resistance, because you existing is technically, you're part of reality. So how can you have resistance to reality warping? But evidently Adam Warlock does. He has mental resistance. Characters like Moondragon can't get into his head. His mind is described as a multi-dimensional brain. He has taken L's before, like the time he put himself in a cocoon after getting beat up by the champion. For those that are wondering, and the champion had an Infinity Stone himself, for those that are curious. The Power Stone. So that's why that happened. He can seemingly make himself have his own clothes or armor when he busts out of the cocoon, because he's not just naked all the time. I was a part of the Soul Gem while you possessed it, which permitted me access to your inner thoughts, talking to Thanos. I know you as no other being in the universe does, better than even you do yourself. He understands Thanos' psyche. He pretty much exposed Thanos. He says, a man always seeking ultimate power and losing it as soon as he attains it. Why? Because deep down his soul, he knows he's not worthy of it. 3 times you have triumphed over incredible odds to gain the ends you desire, and 3 times you have subconsciously supplied the means to your own defeat. You let Nebula wrest the Infinity Gems from you, just as you allowed Captain Marvel to shatter the Cosmic Cube. This is a deep conversation. This is kind of cool, no lie. What happens when you've been with the Soul Gem for so long, I assume. Fisto and Thanos are talking about good versus evil and how they're mostly fundamental forces of the reality. They both are needed. Adam Warlock is basically an exception to the rule. He is completely balanced, neither good or evil. They even stated, how would you go about eliminating all evil? And he looked at him like, eliminating all evil? Oh, and by the way, as all that strength he got, he still has combat skill. Take out people stealthily. He knows how to do nerve strikes. That one time he flipped Wonder Man to the ground as a counterattack. Skills. And no, he's not invincible. He has fought with Hercules before. He did have the gem, but for more or less, I'm assuming the only reason why he didn't just curb stomp him because of the gem is because he was fighting physically, kicking power, etc. So he doesn't always take win, like some might be implying. But he's at least strong enough to not be a flea in comparison. Does that make any sense? Right? I'm just happy that we can see powerhouses actually use Kid. You know what I mean? The gem itself even stated, I could never enslave Adam's soul to my will. He was one of the few companions who retained their free spirit while bound to me. See how he can actually fight back? Yeah, that's funny. That's why I say earlier, I know this is kind of like a cheat code, but it's kind of like his standard gear. You know what I mean? Yes, that's an evil version of himself. After Annihilation Wave, oh shoot, I done jumped too much forward in time. Wait, let me go back right quick. But yeah, this is just a glimpse of what I'm about to show you in a couple minutes. Seems to be too much for even characters like Nova, who's a confirmed black hole level being that he should be comparable to, because it is him. Oops, another jump forward in time. Knocked out the Silver Surfer in this occasion. Okay, you know what? Let me go back right quick. After the Annihilation event, Adam entered a cocoon to attempt to heal after this event. He woke up. He got woken up early by this being known as Philavale and Moondragon. His abilities were significantly changed. Not to the point where he ain't no powerhouse, but he doesn't necessarily have the Soul Gem at this exact moment, but he's still up there with characters like Silver Surfer, like always. You know, Nova, powerhouse tiers, Thor tier type of characters. That part ain't gonna change, really. So it's not really much of a difference. when it comes to that. If anything, it's more showings of him without the soul gem. But now, he actually has quantum magic. Pretty nice change of pace. You see what I mean? Oh, and by the way, he's doing stuff with Guardians of the Galaxy. So there's a good chance we might see Adam Warlock actually become a member of the Guardians of the Galaxy in the future MCU movies. I hope this is the route they're going. That will be really hype for me. It's cool seeing them use magic. Tap in the remains of dead Celestial's mind to determine who's a Skrull and who's not. You can't hide the truth from him. He gonna find out. All this magical looking stuff, it looks dope. It's a different change of pace, but it proved that he's still up there in the powerhouse tier. Revealed, he destroy a large island made of ice, some kind of time ice mumbo jumbo. And yes, he had teleportation, even after an annihilation wave. By the way, that ice he destroyed, this is what they had to say about it. 4,053 metric tons of inert rock, metal, and organic matter. Frozen solid. Frozen in what? Time drag? Old frozen time. And yes, he can cast healing spells. Night-night Shi'ar soldiers, you're nothing. Violently get slapped. The Shi'ar have their own magicians, but Adam Warlock can unravel the magician's shield bubble and drain them of their energy. Quantum magic. Quantum magician. He can even transmute. He transmuted this burning planetoid into matter you can't even really name. I just let this panel speak for itself. You can read this out loud if you like. And by the way, he can transfer a witch mark to someone else. He can even absorb enough power from the Church of Truth to do like this very complex looking, ritual looking thingy to close the universal rift. And goodness gracious, alive. This is a scary side, evil personality of Adam Warlock. Kill Mantis and Cosmo and can stop bullets midair. This is just freaking scary. Telekinesis. All feats should be a part of him too. As Magnus, he shattered Groot's arm. You gonna cut me with your sword? Let me teleport your sword to my hand. Stab. Magnus ain't no joke. Adam Warlock evil. Oh yeah, a planet exploding in front of me. Oh, I'm just fine. Him and Surfer just can survive planet explosions like nothing, you know. And he can drain suits of powered armor. He can be a good support character, like this time beat him to give power to Fill a Veil, Ultron, stuff like that. Even got in a clash with Vulcan. That right. As the evil Magnus, I can just blast the Guardians back. Drax literally tore his heart out, but he just kind of doesn't care. Like, what? Night-Night Quasar, a concrete black hole level being. When I showed you earlier, before I was supposed to, he knocked out the Silver Surfer. Yeah, that's why this stuff came from. Omnidirectional waves of energy attacks. Night-Night Ultron bots. By the way, when he be making his cocoons for himself, he can even make some for other. The time he did it to the Silver Surfer so he won't be assimilated by Ultron. Need a cocoon, buddy? I got your back. They go over his history here, all his previous events here, even the Infinity Gauntlet stuff. It's literally like his whole timeline right here. Gamora is even wearing the classic outfit. He did have some new things. It stated energy shields created out of nowhere come into play. You were never able to do this in your old days. Kinetic. He did have telekinetic shields though. You know what I mean? Doing some construct creation, generated a protective suit of armor type of thing. Or a mace. He can do supposedly microwave broadcasts to melt his foes' weaponry. Thanos explains that the two of us are unlike all others, far from the astral norm. They're different. Okay, now we're back to what I kind of got ahead of myself earlier. Quasar was too much for Nova, it seemed, and Adam Warlock's power as Magnus, the evil version of Adam Warlock, seemed to even surpass him. Stated this new being exceeds him in power to a degree that is impossible for me to measure. Adam Warlock. Let me go back in time again before the Annihilation Wave stuff. And never forget that Adam Warlock was able to turn Thanos into granite. Adam Warlock doesn't necessarily have a set in stone destiny according to the abstract tiers like this, Master Order and Lord Chaos. He is one outside the loop of destiny and capable of wondrous deeds. Never forget why knocking out the Silver Surfer is impressive. Oh, and by the way, about the turning Thanos into stone thing, he was only able to do so by sacrificing his own life. That's not something he can just spam. But back to knocking out the Silver Surfer. The same Silver Surfer that can incinerate a solar system, blast power, cause supernova explosions by just flying through stars. This dude breaks vibranium walls for breakfast consistently. Yep. And in recent-ish type of stuff, he created a star in an extremely weakened state. The infant star I have birthed into being from my power cosmic floats into the heavens to bring light back to this world. This is about going to do it. This guy is extremely powerful. Did you know Adam Warlock was this strong? Hopefully you did. And if you didn't, that's good too, because you learned something new. How strong do you think he is? Yes, I know it can be a bit confusing on his power levels when he unleashes his full power of the Soul Stone. He was able to fight Mephisto in his realm, but for some reason, he still struggles with powerhouse tiers like Thor and on other occasions. My only real good explanation on that is that when he was fighting Thor and him, he wasn't trying to actually kill him out of existence or The stakes of fighting, your state of being fighting somebody like Mephisto and fighting Thor is totally different. At the end of the day, you know Thor isn't like super, he's not a bad guy. You know what I mean? That's the only thing I can think of. If there's any context I'm missing on why he struggled with Thor and Hercules, even taking the L to Hercules physically, even though it looked like he wasn't using the Soul Stone, which is the only possible reasonable explanation on that hard. But it just seems like if he had the stone's power, he would just use it against Thor or Hercules and just win the fight, right? Unless he really wasn't trying to win, right? What is there any context that I am possibly missing? I'm not perfect. That the reason why he was able to fight Mephisto in his realm, overpower him, and even win in his realm when other occasions he struggles with Thor and Hulk and him in that strength. I know strength-wise, he's maybe slightly below Thor and Hulk tier, but whatever he lacks in strength, he makes up in energy projection or just raw power in general. So it actually kind of doesn't matter about what his strength is because energy projection makes up for those faults, right? But yeah, at his peak, I would say he's possibly past some Skyfather levels with the gem, but currently in no Infinity Stones involved or anything like that, he's always going to be in that Thor, Quasar, Nova Prime tier, always, right? It's just too much evidence of it. No matter how you look at it, extremely low balling him, he's in this tier. Highballing him, he can even surpass Mephisto with the gem and all that. With no gem, he's automatically at this level. I mean, think about it. His very first appearance, he fought freaking Thor, and then he didn't have the gem. That's proof of that. Don't underestimate his strength. Hopefully they do him right in the MCU. Hopefully he doesn't necessarily have to have the Infinity Stone. He still can be a powerhouse without it in the MCU. So hopefully they do that the right way. What do you guys think? Is there anything major that I missed? I am well aware I did not bring up him using the Infinity Gauntlet and him being the Living Tribunal. That might be for another video. That's just too much information. This video is already long enough. But check out those playlists so you can see more stuff on the channel like this. Hopefully you guys will stick around on the channel. And this was kind of a nightmare to make, but man, this was a long time coming. Respect Adam Warlock. Peace out.